Good day, children. I want to cast your mind back to all that you have done in the class, especially on literature. And I want to ask you, what is literature? We have done much on it, and now we just want to revise all that we have done. So, if you look at the map, what is literature? What is literature? So we can say literature in its broadest sense is any written work you come across. That is the first definition. Any written work or any written work in prose or in verse. That is talking about poetry. Then all the novel you have read of literature.
The third one, we're talking about literature, then we can mention drama or play, any playbook you come across. So we can now say literature is the mirror of life, and you can say literature help us to know more about people. Literature help us to know more about their culture. So when you read about any work of art, you cannot but read about their culture, about their people. So let's now look at the importance of studying literature. Importance of studying literature. Importance of studying literature. Number one, like I said, it helps us to know more about people and their culture. Let me give you this example. I don't know how many of you that have come across the book Things Fall Apart. Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. That particular book tells us more about the culture of Igbo people in the eastern part of the country. We read about people like Okonkwo and Ikemefuna. That story of Ikemefuna, very, very interesting, very, very appealing. And all that the book is talking about is about the culture of Igbo people. So that is number one, that literature helps us to know more about people and their culture. Number two, literature helps us to know more about the world around us. For example, the book, My Mother, when you were in the primary school, you have been reciting that way, my mother, who sat and watched my infant head. So My Mother, it helps us to appreciate the labor of motherhood. It helps us to appreciate how much the mother cares for us. Therefore, literature makes one more sensitive to the little petal of flower. It may help us to appreciate the nature around us. When you are coming to school every morning, you see flowers, you see butterflies, you see birds. We can appreciate all these. These are the work of literature. Number three, literature helps us to know more about the world around us again. In fact, there is a book that you might have not been reading now. That book, we call it Alan Paton's Cry. Alan Paton's Cry, The Beloved Country. It helps us to know more about South Africa. South Africa is part of this continent of Africa, and it talks more about the suffering of the black in that region about the color segregation. When you say color, when you say color bar, you are talking about discrimination, about discrimination for the blacks. The whites discriminates against black. So again, literature helps us in broadening our horizon. It helps us to build our vocabulary. When you read any work of literature, it adds more vocabulary to you, and thereby you are familiar with so many words. And even the book we are going to read in the class now, after this period, that is Ogadima. Ogadima is a diary of an house help. By the time we get into that book, you read more about so many vocabularies. And again, literature helps young people to live better lives. That is, by literature, you can correct the ills of the society. What are those ugly things that we see around us? What are those bad things that we see around us? Literature intends to correct all those evil in the society. And again, literature sharpens our mental faculty. It trains us to criticize situations and people. Most times, our judgment will be found very objective and sound. In fact, what is going on in the political arena, we can write literature about all those things. We can write literature about corruption. We can write literature about even these social ills in society like rape and so on and so forth. So these are some of the things that we want to learn under literature and its meaning and its importance. Now again, before we close this chapter, I want to tell us that literature can be divided into three literary genres. Literature can be divided into three, we call it literary genres. One, we talk about prose. Number two, talk about drama. Then number three, talk about poetry. Another word for prose, you can even say novel. You can say novel. And if I ask you, who is a novelist? For instance, a novelist is somebody who has written any literature on prose. Then drama too, that is play, meant to be acted on stage. And anybody who has written any book on drama, we refer to that person as playwright. Then again, anybody who has written any piece of literature on poem, for instance, poem, we refer to that person as a poet. So don't forget about these literary genres. Don't be scared about the word genres. It's only talking about aspects of literature, or types of literature. So we have prose, we have drama, we have poetry, and another word for prose, you can refer to it as novel or play or poem. And a writer of prose or novel is a novelist. Then a writer of drama or playbook is a playwright. And at the same time, a writer of poetry or poem is known as poet. And then, if I want to give you more example, it will be in the next class. For more example, it will be in the next class. So, in the next class, we are going to look more about each aspect. That is, what is a prose, what is a drama, what is a poetry. We look more about this in detail in the next class. So, for now, I want to say, read your note and prepare for the subsequent lesson. God bless you.